Long before the rise of Athens, before the Spartans marched, before Rome dreamed of empire, there existed another civilization on the island of Crete. Today, Crete is a picturesque place filled with olive groves, mountain villages, and tourist resorts. But 4,000 years ago, it was the heart of one of the most extraordinary cultures of the Bronze Age. We call them the Minoans, named after the legendary king Minos. Yet even the name is borrowed, for we do not know what they called themselves. They left behind magnificent palaces, delicate art, and traces of vast seaborne trade, but they left us no written history that we can understand. Much of what we know is speculation, and much of what we don't know continues to haunt archaeology. The island of Crete sat at a crossroads of the ancient world. To the south lay Egypt, to the east Mesopotamia, and to the west the lands that would one day become Greece. The Minoans built powerful fleets of ships and turned the Mediterranean into their highway. They traded oil, wine, and ceramics, and in return they imported ivory, copper, gold, and ideas. Unlike many civilizations that glorified war, the Minoans seemed to place their energy elsewhere. Archaeologists have not found great fortresses, nor endless chronicles of battles. Instead, they found sprawling palaces, centers not only of politics but of religion, economy, and culture. The largest and most famous is Knossos, a labyrinth of corridors, staircases, and storerooms covering nearly 20,000 square meters. Knossos was not a fortress. It had no great walls to protect it from enemies. Instead, it was designed as a complex of beauty and symbolism. Its walls were decorated with frescoes of dolphins leaping through blue waters, women in elaborate dresses with flowing hair, and young men daringly vaulting over charging bulls. The palace was so intricate that visitors often described it as a maze. This has led many scholars to believe it inspired the Greek myth of the labyrinth. According to the legend, King Minos kept the Minotaur, a monster, half man, half bull, hidden in an underground maze. Only by slaying the beast could the hero Theseus win his freedom. Was this story simply a myth? Or could it have been a distorted memory of rituals, of bull sacrifices, of secret chambers within Knossos itself? Religion in Minoan society remains a mystery. Unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, they left no grand temples inscribed with the names of gods. What we have are figurines and symbols, a goddess holding snakes, perhaps a deity of fertility and rebirth, the sacred horns of bulls, the double axe, known as the labris, a symbol of divine power. Many rituals seem to have taken place in caves, mountain peaks, or within palace courtyards. The bull was at the center of their faith, perhaps representing strength and fertility. Some scholars even suggest that blood sacrifices may have been part of Minoan rituals, though proof remains elusive. The Minoans also developed a system of writing known as Linear A. Hundreds of clay tablets have been found, covered in this mysterious script. To this day, no one has deciphered it. Their words remain locked, their voices lost to time. What set the Minoans apart was their devotion to beauty. They painted with colors so vivid that their frescoes still glow after thousands of years. They crafted pottery with elegant spirals and marine motifs, octopuses wrapping around vases, waves curling across bowls. They wore bright jewelry and built homes with plumbing systems far ahead of their time. Daily life likely revolved around trade, farming, and rituals. Olive oil, wine, and grains were staples. Ships carried Minoan goods across the Mediterranean. Some historians believe women played a more prominent role here than in most other ancient cultures. They appear frequently in art as priestesses, and possibly as leaders. Did the Minoans create one of history's first societies where women held equal or greater power? And yet, despite their achievements, their palaces lacked fortifications. Did they truly live in peace, relying on their navy for defense? Or did their power and influence make them feel invincible until fate proved them wrong? Around 1600 BC, disaster struck. On the nearby island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, a volcano erupted with apocalyptic force. The explosion was so massive that it split the island apart, sent shockwaves across the sea, and filled the skies with ash. A tsunami, perhaps 50 meters high, surged toward Crete. Villages were washed away. Fields were poisoned by ash. For a maritime people whose power rested on their ships and harbors, this disaster was crippling. But nature may not have been their only enemy. In the decades following the eruption, evidence suggests the Minoans came under attack or were absorbed by the rising Mycenaeans of mainland Greece. Palaces burned. Linear A disappeared, replaced by Linear B, the script of the Mycenaeans. Slowly, the unique voice of the Minoans fell silent. Though their civilization collapsed, Echoes of the Minoans lived on in Greek mythology. The legend of King Minos, of Theseus and the Minotaur, of the labyrinth, all seem to be fragments of cultural memory, reshaped into story. Perhaps the Minotaur symbolized the dangerous bull rituals. Perhaps the labyrinth was a poetic memory of Knossos. Perhaps Ariadne, the princess who gave Theseus the thread, was a faint echo of a Minoan priestess guiding worshippers through sacred rituals. The Greeks turned history into myth, and myth into legend. The true Minoans faded into shadows, remembered not for who they were, but for the monsters they inspired. Today, the ruins of Knossos stand silent. Tourists wander through reconstructed columns painted red and black, but the full truth remains buried. Who ruled these palaces? What gods did they worship? What language did they speak? Why did they collapse so suddenly? Every discovery opens new questions. The deciphering of Linear A could one day reveal their secrets, but until then, the Minoans remain half known, half remembered. What we do know is that they created one of the most advanced societies of their age. Seafaring traders, brilliant artists, daring performers of bull-leaping rituals, builders of palaces without walls. And then, like a shadow at sunset, they disappeared. The story of the Minoans is the story of mystery itself, a people who rose without conquest and fell without clear cause, a society that turned the sea into their ally, that celebrated life and beauty, and yet was undone by nature, by rivals, or perhaps by both. They remind us that civilizations, no matter how brilliant, are fragile. They can vanish in a storm, in a fire, in the silence of forgotten words. When we walk through the ruins of Knossos today, we do not hear their voices. We only hear the sea, the wind, and our own questions. The Minoans remain an enigma,